Yes, 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 yes. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. I am CallMeNakomi, and this is CallMeNakomi World for just alive, baby. I'm here to talk to everybody out there, everywhere, in here, in the universe, to say hello. How you doing? I hope you're doing well in this crazy, crazy world that we live in. We're just trying to stay ahead, keep our heads above water, and just trying to find some sense in this world, man. Just trying to find some sense in this world. I got a bunch of different topics that I want to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about the New York Knicks, which are about to start their game 3 against the Indiana Pacers. Not really going to talk about that too long. I mean, I wish I had a lot more to talk about, but I do. I will once I see how they basically handle this last one. But I'm going to go over that a little bit. I'm going to go over a little bit the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese issue. Give you my interpretation of how I feel about it. And also the Shedeur Sanders issue. I spoke a little bit on my thoughts and feelings about him as a player back on draft day, and unfortunately, we didn't. We, as the part of the Giants, New York Giants fandom, did not select him, or the fandom did not select him. The execs and coaches didn't select him. So, but I'm going to go over that a little bit too. But I'm going to start off with breaking news that I saw yesterday. As you all know, I started this channel in 2020. Wow, it's crazy that this has been going on that long. Yeah, I started back in 2020 doing my channel, basically just wanted to start talking about my favorite book series, which is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. And it just so happened that around that time, it was picked up by Sony. Sony basically bought the rights to it from Red Hawk, I guess that was the name of it. And it was picked up by Amazon after Rafe Judkins became the showrunner, or was selected to be a showrunner. And after 3 seasons, over 5 years, understandably, a little bit of the COVID quarantine basically had a big, impact on that a little bit, among other things. But they have decided, Amazon has decided to cancel the Wheel of Time TV series. It was a shock, but not a shock. It was a shock to the fandom, but to me, honestly, not a shock. Not a shock. You could see kind of in the way that they were, marketing. They weren't truly marketing in the way, in the way that I've seen other big shows being marketed, other big cable shows being marketed. They didn't do that for the Wheel of Time. So it honestly was pretty much left to the fandom to spread the word. And unfortunately, and this is my opinion, okay, before I get there, Amazon has basically said that due to the numbers, they crunched the numbers and they didn't feel that it would be prudent for them to continue to produce a show. So they're deciding to cancel the show. Now, obviously, that might change. My favorite show of all time, one of my favorite TV series of all time, the Expanse, was canceled also by FX, but then was later picked up by Amazon Prime. Funny enough, after a grassroots push to have it picked up by Alex Kamal, the guy who plays Alex Kamal. I forgot his real name, the actor's real name, but he started a grassroots, push to try to get the Expanse brought back, and Amazon ended up picking it up, and then it went on for another 4 seasons. I think, or 2 seasons. Not 2 seasons, at least 4 or 5 seasons, because I think it was canceled after the 2nd season, before the 3rd season started. But either way, it could be done that, if enough people, rally behind it and show that they did their displeasure, that it can be picked up. it could be picked up again, and maybe they could continue on where they left off. Hopefully, those same actors are not engaged in other contracts and other other shows at the time. Hopefully, we could basically get those people back. But I will say this, in my own opinion, a lot of the decisions made for that show in the writing and I mean, adapting the book series to the TV show, a lot of that adaptation was unnecessary. Um, Almost seemed as though they were trying to make it their own rather than an adaptation of the book. You really just had the characters, but honestly, a lot of that was loosey goosey with the narratives and the play and the plots, the characters, and I mean, obviously, we might it's hindsight, maybe might show that things that might be different, or might show if they continue that with in the vein that they're going in, if they decide to get picked up again, maybe it might continue to succeed. This was the most successful season, the third season, but I believe that it got that way because the writing finally found a groove to settle into, and you built on it for the past 2 3 or sorry 4 or 5 years to get to where you are now. So you finally got the investment into the effects. You finally found how to properly show the effects of certain things that you're doing. At the same time, though, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's going to say that you lost a lot of people with the fact that, I mean, you changed so many things. People left so many people out, and I don't know if I could ever forgive killing off Loyal and Swan Sanche for no reason when they both last until the last books of the series. Um, as another person that I follow, who he covers the show and he's reading the books also, and he was very disturbed also by the fact that a lot of black characters were killed off in the show. Yeah, a lot of, but I mean, at the same time, it was just like diversity for diversity's sake. And then these people are it's one thing if they're just red shirts on a Star Trek film. It's another thing when you basically just kill off main characters just because you didn't know what to do with them down the road. Just say that you basically knew you were getting canceled and you wanted to throw a firework inside of a room and close the door to see what happens. It was just unnecessary. It was. I'm not saying that I wish that it wasn't canceled, or I wish that it was canceled. I'm not saying that I wish it was canceled, but at the same time, it's not surprising. You changed too much too soon, and it wasn't organic the way that it needed to be if it was actually done the way the books are. Um, the for I mean, very very minimal things were changed. I mean, some things definitely were missing from the Lord of the Rings, and some things were missing from Game of Thrones, but pretty much most of it wasn't. It was pretty solid. Those were pretty solid adaptations, and they were unnecessarily changed. What's going on, Jew Jams? What's going on with your brother? And I'm cool here, man. I'm about to start talking about the Knicks a little bit. You know what I mean? Hoping that we do a little bit better this during this game. I know it's starting soon, so I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna look at it a while I'm going through some of the situations that I'm talking about right now. But when wanted to go ahead and get that part off my chest regarding the Wheel of Time. You did it to yourself. Um, you know, I think that it became one of the largest selling book series of all time, not because people could play high and fast and loose with it, because the plot line is damn near perfect. Yeah, you could change some things about the characters and sew some things up. That's fine, but the plot line is damn near perfect, and you made it. You put holes in it that didn't need to be there. You put holes that didn't need to be there. Plain and simple. All right. So hopefully maybe one day they'll bring it back. Hopefully someday maybe somebody else will decide to adapt it if they could ever buy it now, because Sony's going to basically probably hold on to it for their life, for the rest of that company's lifetime. Unfortunately, I feel bad for Harriet and for all the Wheel of Time family who were there from the beginning, all the fans. Drink one to you. But the book lives on, and hopefully we'll be able to forget this blip. It is what it is. I'm saying, I'm talking, saying what I feel. That's what it is. Yeah. So let me see something. Details. Watch live. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, on to the game. Tonight, it just started. Right now, the Knicks are up 2-0. The game just started. They're in Indiana, in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I'm hoping that they're not being called all type of expletives and all type of derogatory racial slurs in there. It's unfortunate that people just players, even though they're getting paid, they can't basically just go somewhere and have dignity as a human being as they're being played. Because I'm sure, as for all the things that people say about New Yorkers and being rude or celebrating too soon, after the second round win. For all that, nobody walks into New York into the Madison Square Garden being called a monkey, being called a N-word, being called all types of different things. And Indiana, if I were you, I wouldn't be proud of that at all. And that happens with the men's game and the women's game. So in Indiana, I'm gonna need you to clean that shit up, plain and simple. But yeah, I'm hoping that the Knicks come out and fight. They had game one in hand, and unfortunately, they let their foot off the gas. They started Robinson. That's absolutely great because starting Robinson and next to Cat. Let me see who they sat. I see Bridges out there. I see, of course, Brunson's out there. And okay, good. That's what I'm talking about. Mitchell, go ahead and bring that back up. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah, and let's see. They started Bridges. They started, yeah. And no, exactly. OG, good. Because I really, really felt like Hart should be coming off the bench, man. Hart should definitely be coming off the bench. There should be no reason why Hart's not there. I mean, why Hart should be in the front in the whole thing. He should be that dude who does all the spark stuff off the bench for them. It's a lot more balanced. I was talking to my brother about that, Drew James. I was talking to my man about that, basically saying that I believe that Hart should definitely be coming off the bench. And if they could get a solid center and they start in Robinson, let's see how it goes. I mean, hey, you got to throw everything at the wall tonight, because if they don't and they go down 3-zip, it's over. Last game, I felt that they held Indiana really, really. They held them down, but they just let Pascal Siakam just basically just basically go wild on them. So I feel like if they could basically hold it down and they make this a gritty, dirty game, 1 point at a time, fight for every single rebound, hopefully get some calls, that'll help them out. I feel that they definitely should take care of this game. How in the hell did he just dribble twice? Did he just catch the ball, dribble in, stop, dribble back out, and then shoot? What kind of shit is that? Anyway, my bad. My daughter has some friends over. I shouldn't be cussing like that, but I don't think that they can really hear me even here. Just in case y'all hear some screaming, there's a whole bunch of girls in this house, a whole bunch of young girls in this house, and they basically just having a good time. So I'm not mad at them, but I got things to talk about, so can't stop the show. Knicks up 6-4. There it is. All right, Brunson. Yeah, but man, come on. Y'all need to, come on. That's what I'm talking about. Anunoby, plain and simple. You and Pascal Siakam used to be on the same damn team. There should be no reason why y'all basically too timid to score against each other. F that. It's done. Off. That's why you ain't get that bum ass Halliburton. He is overrated. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I mean, he's a great point guard, but at the same time, show me Chris Paul. I'll take Chris Paul over Halliburton any day, anyway. So I'm gonna keep on watching this game as it goes. Right now, we up 9-4. And I'm saying we because I'm representing my Brooklyn. I would definitely never ever represent Indiana over Brooklyn, over New York, especially with the way that y'all be treating the people who come through there. And I'm not just saying that because of this. Trust me, my spouse, my wife, she was in the military. She was set in a base off in Indiana. And she was told not to leave base by herself. Yeah. That's what you're rooting for. That's what you're rooting for. I don't care. I know the players aren't from there, but still, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. It needs to start at home. It needs to start at home. I don't care how fiery they are and how much they want to scream and how hard it is to win there. It's hard to win there because they basically because the fans feel comfortable calling you out your name. I hope nothing they do ever flourishes. Plain and simple. Well, with that being said, I'm going on to my Angel Reese and Clayton Clark fiasco, which Angel Reese, of course, this is basically about a week ago. This happened, where the WNBA season just started recently. Let me see what the season's looking like right now. What the standings are at. It's going to be a really good season. I wish they would have had a new collective bargaining agreement to start the season, but they did not. Right now, the Minnesota Lynx have the best record in the league. They are 4-0. Nafisa Collier is definitely not playing this year. New York, of course, is following up with their first ring in franchise history. So they are continuing where they left off at a 3-0 beginning. Seattle Storm, they're also continuing where they left off last year with a good year. They are 3-1. Golden State Valkyries, brand new expansion team. Not a lot of people that you would even know on that team, but they are 2-1. The Mercury, funny enough, after losing Diana Taurasi BG. After Brittany Griner, after losing both of them, Brittany Griner is now in Atlanta, and they are 2-1 also. And the Dream right now are 3-2. The Vegas are 2-2, and the Fever are 2-2. Washington Mystics, they're actually doing pretty good right now. They are 2-2. The Sparks, they're doing pretty well after getting Kelsey Plum. They are 2-3, and unfortunately, the teams that have no wins right now are the Chicago Sky, the Dallas Wings, and the Connecticut Sun. All three of those teams had had some change up and everything like that. New coach in Chicago. No Carter. Trinity Carter. She's playing in Mexico. I wonder why she didn't get a WNBA contract. And honestly, funny enough, she don't even look hurt for it. She don't even look hurt for it, because I can imagine right now that she'd rather be down there than to basically be up here and having to deal with what she has to deal with and what everyone has to deal with surrounding playing with one person. It's ridiculous. Can we just play some basketball? Can we just play some basketball instead of basically taking every single little thing that happens as an affront to y'all entire existence? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway. The Wings, they got Paige Beckers, but they haven't found their flow yet with her and Agumawali. And of course, Connecticut lost DeWanna Bonner, who is now with the Fever. I'm not sure if her wife is still there, but at the same time, teams have to rebuild and do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we're talking about the situation that happened in the first, Indiana versus Chicago game. They were in Indiana, but were they in Chicago? I thought they was in Indiana. But yeah. So Basically, if you have lived under a rock, Angel Reese, basically, somebody who shot the ball. Angel Reese was underneath the hole with another player. She pushed the player out the way. The player basically didn't even look like she pushed her that hard, but the player flew out of the hole off the entire court. And Angel went and got the ball and went to go put the ball back up. Caitlin Clark saw that she basically was gonna get a quick free layup. She comes in, she gives her a hard foul, knocks her to the floor. She could have just wrapped her up instead of basically knocking her to the floor, but she gives a hard foul. It is what it is. Knocks her to the floor. Angel gets up, and goes to get in her face about basically the hard foul, which that happens in every single sport. But Caitlin walks away. People basically, try to hold back Angel as though she's some kind of wild beast. And of course, the media just goes on to act as though this is some kind of crazy occurrence that doesn't happen every single day in every single sport. I've seen pitchers miss players and people still charge the mound. The whole entire, both benches both dugouts get emptied. I've seen, I've seen NFL players basically just bump into each other and decided to take off their masks and start hitting each other. I've seen hockey players just basically dump their gloves and go toe to toe on skates for nothing, for something that they had beef with from weeks and months ago, from years ago. Every single time they see each other, it's on site. I've seen NBA players do the same thing every single time. The other day, you are gonna act like you don't remember Isaiah Stewart. Basically, I'm trying to beat up on LeBron for trying to nudge him out the way on the rebound on the line. I mean, when they're waiting for a rebound off a free throw, and people are acting like this is some kind of crazy thing that happened. No, it's the media is making this absolutely crazy, where they feel like for some reason they have to take a side. Why do you have to take a side? Just let it be football. Let it be basketball. Let it be baseball. Just let it be. Everybody are humans. Everybody can react to it the way that they want to, and no one should tell someone how they need to react to it, because you're not in that person's shoes and you don't know the things and the circumstances that led up to those events. So mind your business and just let the persons play. Angel Reese, as soon as basically Caitlin probably didn't even want to answer nothing, and I don't know if I'm sure they did ask her basically, and she brushed it off and said nothing. Angel Reese, they asked her about it. She said basically it was the right call. She agrees, and she's like, she wants to move on. She wasn't trying to even answer it because she was trying to go and dig and dig and dig and keep and give y'all more and more stuff to basically tear her down with. It's bad enough for what she has to deal with on a daily basis. She has to deal with on a daily basis the same kind of stuff that that Michelle Obama had to deal with people basically calling her a man, because she's a strong Black woman who won't back down and sucks. She won't do all that foolishness. So because she won't do that, she basically can own her power and her femininity at the same exact time. She must be transgendered on the low, or she's some kind of wild animal or some kind of foolishness. And you want to tell her how she should act and how she should carry herself. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting and disturbing. So basically, and of course, it all stems from the expected culmination of Caitlin Clark's career, winning a championship when she basically had that magical run and met up with Angel Reese in a championship game. And Angel Reese basically did the same thing to her, basically, that she did to everybody else, and pointed at the ring, did the ring me, and they won and they beat the team, and they never forgave her for it. They never forgave her for basically playing the same game that Caitlin Clark played. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, because she is being defined. Angel Reese's entire career is being defined by the person that you guys love and she defeated. So you're going to make her pay because she defeated that person. And it's not even Angel Reese who does it. Anybody who touches her basically must have a problem with her. They must have a problem with her. Yeah, no, I mean, it's rookies Even this year, rookies have being thrown to the floor. Grown veterans are being thrown to the floor. Ain't nobody making no bullshit, bringing that up every single goddamn game. No, it's just those two. Or anytime Caitlin's touched. I don't know. I'm sure Caitlin's sick of it. At the same time, I mean, she got other shit to do, but Angel don't got other shit to do. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The media coverage to me is becoming ridiculous, not just politically, sports wise, on every single level. And the media it's almost I can't even watch ESPN and all that shit no more, man. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, yo. So the media coverage, this is the kind of stuff that I heard during the media coverage. Colin Cowherd, never really cared for him. I watched him a little bit because I used to like when Nick Wright would go on his show, you know what I mean, and they would sit down. And so I heard his come out of his mouth. He says that he thinks that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, hates Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark gets more press than she does. Are you serious? Are you serious? This is why? This is why? Because she gets more press than she does? Why would you even think that she even hates her? Why would you assign the word hate to her? Because basically she whooped her ass in a national championship game, and Caitlin Clark came back and basically, I guess beat them out or got further in the tournament than she did the next year. And they went to the league and they play each other 4 times a year. So you don't think that maybe they might be just not natural enemies, but at the same time, just opponents that would rather beat each other than not beat each other? Can't they just want to beat each other and win? It just is what it is. Why? Why do you never really hear too much of Caitlin Clark answering the question about whether or not she hates Angel Reese? Why is that not the question? Does Caitlin Clark hate Angel Reese? No, nobody even asks that question. They barely even ask that question if they do ask that question. And I'm sure the answer for both people is the same. No, we don't hate each other. We're just competitors. We're opponents. We want to win. It is what it is. Why can't it just be that? But no, if she says no, and she must be telling the truth though. But if Angel Reese says no, she must be lying because she must be jealous. And Colin whatever the hell, Cowherd says that men can hate each other. And he said that. He said men can hate each other. And he said, and women can hate each other too, but it must be because of jealousy though. Why? 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 The men, you're showing so much how little you truly know about women if you think that everything that we do, the motivation for everything that we do has to be about jealousy. I think that you're telegraphing, how you guys feel, because we can't just basically just not like somebody and it just not be about jealousy. I don't want to be her. I'm sure Angel Reese don't want to be her. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Caitlin Clark don't want to be Angel Reese. You can't just be that they just maybe just don't like each other, or they just basically are opponents. Maybe later on in their careers they might basically become good friends like Larry Bird and Magic, but right now they don't want each other to win. Can't they just basically be that way? No, it's because she's jealous. It's because she wants to be her. That's basically what jealousy is, right? Jealousy means that the person doesn't like who they are, so they must want to be that person. They can't like who they are. Angel Reese can't like who she is, right? She can't really like who she is. She must really actually want to be her. This is the kind of information and coverage that media is trying to feed you and make you try to believe this shit. And women can't hate each other, but it must be it must be out of jealousy. They can hate each other, but it must be out of jealousy. Like men don't get jealous either. And women can't just like not like somebody or just not want to just want to win against a certain person or a certain team. Especially when you're going into the team going into the place every single year being called everything in the world, or your name being dragged in the mud every single year. Ever since the Ring Me, Angel Reese has been being dragged, supported by us, but dragged by everybody else in the world. And like women can't play with their fire, their intensity on 10 at all times, and want to show up and want to win and not retreat in the face of people trying to tell them that basically you should be different towards this person. What different towards who? To whom? To whom should I be different towards? Or handle somebody else with kid gloves because of who they are and how much they're the cash cow. That's great. Earn us money. But basically, don't expect for me to play basketball any differently. Don't expect for me to react to a hard foul any differently. Don't expect for me to react to any questions you give me any differently than the way that I choose to do it. You know what I'm saying? And especially showing that in the face of being called a monkey and every other thing in the world to her face by the masses inside of an arena. And the arena and the execs and the team, and they say that they don't condone it, but are they walking fans out of the arena when they do it? I want to see that happen in Boston and Indiana before you basically in Utah. Before you tell me that I should just basically swallow that shit like a pill and walk away, please. That's right now. She can't. It kills me that she can't show fire. And I guess not. It's just like being a Black woman. We are already told that we should basically tone down ourselves. We can't be our true selves because it makes other people feel uncomfortable, and it's ridiculous when not only other people are telling us this, but when our own people are trying to tell us this. It's just like they have become comfortable with making us comfortable with being less than. And I can't stand by and basically be cool with that. You know what I mean? That basically, in the pain of everything she's going through, she must temper her emotions. Beyond just basically giving a good answer to a question in the post game. She shouldn't even react in the way she reacted. I mean, it's just like, you know what? When you guys do it all the time, and this turns into a kumbaya session, then we'll consider it. Until then, I didn't ask for your opinion on how I should handle it. How about that? Plain simple. Because dumbing down ourselves the way we are, the way we were born to be, the way that we decided we wanted to be, or the way that we were raised, the things that kept us alive and that kept us strong in the face of all the discrimination that we had to deal with growing up to become a 20-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 40-year-old. Don't tell us how we need to basically change what got us where we are. Period. And to hear people like Kenyon Martin and Gilbert Arenas say that she should laugh it off or she should do something different, it made me sick to my stomach, because I was just like, Kenyon Martin is telling someone how they should react when they're fouled hard. Seriously, Gilbert Arenas is telling someone how they need to act. It made me sick to basically see Cheryl Swoop sitting next to them, having to just like look to them like, wow, that's how you feel. That's how you feel she should act. I was just like, I wish that she had a warrior next to her, basically, to be able to lay into Gilbert and Kenyon Martin. Like, y'all out your damn minds. Are y'all serious? Would you give your daughter that same advice when she basically when she is dealing with the same situation? Because it's not just some type of first day thing, like this is their first time meeting. It's a every time she comes into that arena kind of thing. Every time she plays that girl kind of thing. It's always a what is she gonna do? How is she gonna react? Not worried about what the other person does. It's all about her. Oh, well, why did she do it? Oh, she must have did it because she did that. She wouldn't have gave her the hard file if it wasn't for the fact that she found this other chick. But why didn't that other chick that Angel Reese file get up and basically get into Angel Reese's face? It's basketball. She chose to, she chose not to. Caitlyn chose to walk away, she chose not to. Angel basically got fouled hard, sent to the floor. She got up and basically decided to confront the person who pushed her. Did she swing? No. Did she swing? No. It's just crazy. And if Kenny Martin and Gilbert Arenas is going to talk about saying that they wish that that's the way they did it, they would have done it in the past, then say that instead of trying to tell another woman, a grown woman, about what she should have did. Plain simple. You don't think that she knows exactly what she's doing and what she's talking about? She's young, but at the same time, you don't think that she basically has sought the opinions of trusted advisors and friends and tried to figure out how she should. And I'm sure they told her, be you. Don't ever stop being you, because being you is how you got here. Plain and simple. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see some shit like that. Let me see some shit. Because they trying to act as though. Hold on. Angel Reese has 4 million followers. Caitlin Clark has 3 million followers. So, I mean, that's why I figured. I was just like, so she's jealous of Caitlin Clark. Why? She has a bigger following. So why does she have to, why is jealousy anything to bring into it? Do me a favor. If you have no clue about what's going on and you don't want to be serious about that, don't talk about it. Cover shit that you actually really know and want to talk about, or rather the things that you actually know about, because a lot of you guys never even played basketball or football or anything, or was hurt, or basically had to deal with adversity, had to deal with men basically not wanting you to even play the game, having to deal with people not really feeling like you basically should even be a featured player on a team because you're not the right color. Trust me when I say that I've been in those situations. It doesn't feel good, but I stood 10 toes down, stood up for myself. And if those situations ever would have crossed my way, I might have reacted the exact same way. And I wish somebody would have told me that it was because I was jealous of the other person. Y'all need to find something else. That's the oldest trick in the book, and it no longer holds water, except for y'all who keep on trying to perpetuate that myth. I think Caitlin's a great player. I think Angel's a great player, and I think there's enough room in the league for both of them. Period. Anyway, all right. Let's see what's going on in this game before I get into my last segment. Yeah. How y'all doing out there? Haven't had too many visitors, but hey, it's okay. It's still going up. Right now, the Pacers are ahead of the Knicks 30 to 26. High person on the Knicks is, of course, Jalen Brunson with 11. Mitchell Robinson is helping out with 6 points, 4 rebounds. Cat has 0 points. That right there cannot happen if they plan on winning this game. Cat needs to go crazy in the second quarter. Ananobi has 3 points. Mikael Bridges has 4. I don't know what's going on. I hope that y'all figure that shit out because it's going to be an ugly, ugly, ugly long drive back to New York if they basically lose these 2 games. And of course, I picked the Knicks to win this. Right now, they are. They're doing their best. They're gonna have to basically just pull it through. They're gonna have to just do what they can. They do what they can do, and score with their scoring. Doesn't really look like Indiana can really stop them that much either. So it's just that one team needs to outscore the other by 1 point of 10. That was the ugliest last chance shot I ever seen in my entire life. But first quarter's over. Pacers are up 30-26. All right. So to my last segment for the evening, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming in. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so before. I know I'm talking about some deep things right now. You guys probably are used to me talking about real surface level stuff and nothing too deep and nothing too, personal or like that. But later for that. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about the things that I want to talk about. Cover things that I want to cover and be absolutely genuine. I'm not saying that I haven't been genuine this entire time, basically, but certain things I, faded away from talking about because, I didn't want to, offend, but I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just basically going to talk and speak my mind. It be what it is. Just like I've always pretty much spoken my mind, saying that I wasn't a huge fan of the changes that were made to the Wheel of Time. It is what it is. So I'm just going to keep on being me. It is. So, on to me possibly entering the football transfer portal. The football fan transfer portal, that is. Absolutely sickened by what transpired with Shedeur Sanders about a month ago, I guess, with the draft, NBA draft, and what ended up happening. In case you lived under a rock for the past, past month or so, Shedeur Sanders definitely the number 1 or number 2 in some people's eyes quarterback prospect in the draft. Expected to go either number 2 or number 3, possibly number 2 to Cleveland, who needed a quarterback, especially with all the issues that they had with Deshaun Watson, or to New York at number 3, who absolutely needed a quarterback, even though they picked up 2 quarterbacks in the offseason, as I spoke about during the draft. They picked up, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. And I figured, that's just basically, security, safety blankets just in case anything happens, but also as a way to, obviously they were going to try to get a quarterback because that was what the owner said that's what they needed to do this offseason. They needed to get a quarterback or else they might as well just go ahead and put in their Indeed, update their Indeed and, find a new job, find somewhere else to be because you wasn't going to be on the team. So pre-draft controversy ensues where out of nowhere, maybe about a week or 2 right before the NFL draft, some rumors started to come out of nowhere, saying that they suspect that, and it was kind of suspected that, and obviously sooner or later became obvious that the Giants were the place where this information leaked from. Where it was said that Shedeur Sanders had a bad interview, and people basically went diving into this situation post the draft to try to find out what exactly where did this come from, because that type of smear campaign job, only happens from because people really, really tried to make that happen, and we suspected that it came out of the Giants, because other people basically who had interviews with them didn't have anything bad to say. He had other visits with the 30, top 30 visits basically with Cleveland. Cleveland liked him. Other teams basically liked him, but the Giants were being mum on what they said. But it was a little obvious that the Giants were getting shaky on, because up to the last meeting that the Giants did at Colorado to watch Shedeur at the pro day, they sent the entire team, including the owner's son, to go and watch them. And this is basically after Joe Shane pretty much really, really felt as though he was going to go Shedeur Sanders. But out of nowhere, it became evident that there was a rift in the team, where Joe Shane wanted Shedeur, and Brian Daboll had second thoughts. You know what I mean? So he had some cold feet, and so it felt as though Joe Shane started to separate himself, because he realized, like, okay, well, you're the quarterback whisperer, and if you decide that he's not the one, okay, so that's obvious. I'm gonna do my job to make sure that I get the best people that I can get in this team. But when I basically make the move, if that's the move you want to make, then no doubt, then that's your move. And even in post draft, post draft conversations, they basically was like, well, Brian, do you want to answer that question? You know what I'm saying? He was just like, yeah, you're going to have to stand behind that decision all by yourself, bro. And I'm not mad at Joe Shane for that. He had a pretty decent draft, but I mean, hey, that was the one thing that was Brian Daboll's choice, no doubt, whatever. So it leaked out that it was Brian Daboll who had the cold feet, about the draft, and of course, the circus basically starts. As far as the circus and the media circus, people start talking about it, and everybody, and next thing you know, the draft comes, and people are just like, oh my God, he might not get picked up by the draft by the Giants. But of course, like, people like the Saints will probably pick them up, or I mean, there's plenty of teams out there who need need a play a quarterback. I mean, I'll go through them in a second, plain and simple. But it was a couple of things. We all knew what it was. It's not like it was some kind of brand new thing that nobody knew what was going on or what like that. It was a couple of things. He has a following that he's had since he was in high school. He's Deion Sanders' son. He plays quarterback, and he's good. He ain't Michael Jordan's kids who can't play no real good basketball. He's good. He was trained by Tom Brady. He decided to go with his father to wherever his father decided to coach. And his father decided to go to Jackson State. And Jackson State, they turned that program all the way around. And Jackson State actually ended up to be in the HBCU bowl game. And then they left there and took Travis Hunter decided to go with them, and they went to Colorado, and they turned that team from a 2-9 team. Is that basically where I saw that Colorado used to be? Colorado was 1-11. 1-11 before Deion Sanders got there. And Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, and of course, the team that he brought along with him, he brought some players with him, and he brought some coaches with him, and they went there first year 4-8 from 1-11. People are like, oh, that's crass, that's trash, or like that. We have to go from a 1-win team to 4-11 on a brand new team where he gutted and started to bring his whole play teams, his own players in. That's a really good turnaround. But people's like, oh, okay, well, let's see what they do next year. The next year, 9-4. 9-4 is a decent season for any college football team. Any college football team that's not trying to win a championship, because to win a championship, you gotta go 12-0 or 11-1. But they were 9-4, and that's the second year. You don't think that he's going to be better the next year? So Shedeur Sanders, he has a following because he has been great and prolific his entire career. His father has been great and been a great coach that people want to follow. People want to play for, people want to follow, people want to coach with, plain and simple. Okay, so it's a couple different things going on here. You have the following of Shedeur Sanders, so that's going to be basically a tall task for people to have to, figure out what if they want to have all that attention. Oh my God forbid your team becomes, gets attention, or your backup is more famous than the lead quarterback. That sounds to me like good problems, because I mean, hey, if you have a good quarterback ahead of him, then yeah, he should sit his ass down and wait to start. But if you ain't got nobody in there should be no reason, there should be no problem. You just got the most popular quarterback in your team. I mean, in the prospect in the league coming onto your team. And it's not even like he's trash, but I'm going to go over his stats a little bit later. But also you have his dad. He said that he would like to stay at Colorado. And he actually just signed a brand new contract with Colorado to become the highest paid coach in college football, because Colorado wants him to stay and continue to build his team back up. And he's there to show how good he is, because he has to prove it. Big 12, yeah, maybe it's not SEC, but at the same time, Big 12 is nothing to snub your nose at. You know what I mean? But people are afraid that if you have Shedeur there, and if the coach sucks, the team might just consider asking his father if he wants to coach in the NFL. And that basically is everybody is assuming sooner or later that's where Deion's going to end up. Why? Because he's a successful coach. He knows what he's doing. He is a successful coach. He's not just a successful. He's a Hall of Fame football player. Hall of Fame football player. And has now turned around two different programs. And doesn't seem like there's any reason why he can't turn around a NFL program too. But right now, I feel like he's okay and comfortable teaching children. But at the same time, sooner or later, they might start knocking, and he might decide to answer the door. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you're afraid that if you're a garbage coach coaching his son, that they might decide to offer the team to somebody else. Or in Brian Daboll's case, you're afraid that the success that Shedeur might have nothing to do with you. That's my thoughts about it. Plain and simple. He didn't want Deion Sanders to become sooner or later to take his job. And he wanted to he was the one who was saying that, oh, I just need a quarterback. I need a quarterback. And then he reaches, I mean, if I was doing that kind of picking in the fantasy football, they would give me a D for that kind of reach, how they reach for Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart wished that he would have basically did the kind of things that Shedeur Sanders did this year. So anyway, so he tried to basically explain away his insecurities and fears, and decide to sabotage and throw dirt on another innocent man. And that's basically Brian Daboll. That's how it is. Things are not going well for him. He basically curses the people that he can curse, and the other ones he tries to pet and pander to them, even though they're trash. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it takes a side of he takes a side he'd rather pick a project than a bona fide starter. That's the kind of person that Daboll is. So, so that he could succeed and he won't be replaced. Anyway, so the draft comes around. Titans pick number 1. They picked Cam Ward, as they basically said they were. Shedeur and Cam Ward were pretty much 1 and 2. You can flip-flop them, how good they were, basically. Even though, Shedeur had a more accurate arm, less interceptions and all that good stuff, I think. And hit so many records. He basically, they decided to go with Cam Ward because he had more of an explosive arm, as they say. He had more of an explosive arm. We'll see. Next pick was by Cleveland. Cleveland had the number 2 pick, but they decided somehow, number 1, I think that pretty much many people expected that the team that Dion didn't want his son to go to was Cleveland. Why? Because Cleveland is trash. Cleveland is a place where many players go to die. I know that from watching football for very many years, and also from some insight, some inside insight. So many players go there and do their time, and they go off as soon as they can, plain and simple. But Cleveland, being the bad team that they are, they decided to say, okay, you know what we're going to do? We are going to trade our second pick to Jacksonville for the fifth pick. And so Jacksonville jumps up to 2, and they go ahead and they pick Travis Hunter. Go with God, Jacksonville. Good pick. You got a player that possibly could be great. Depending also, the depends on, is he just going to be another wide receiver, or are you going to actually let him play the positions that he wants to play, which is both ways. We'll see. Then come the moment of truth. The Giants picked 3rd, and unfortunately, they did not pick Shedeur Sanders like I wanted them to pick, but they decided to go defense, and they picked the top defensive player. So I'm not even mad at that. I'm just like, all right, y'all want to basically have your cake and eat it too. Understandable. So you pick they picked Abdul Carter from Penn State. We are Penn State. That's my alma mater, so I'm not mad at it at all. And so I figured that, okay, they're playing games. They're going to hope that nobody picks up on Shedeur, and they're going to come back around, even though already it was being said before the draft even started that New York was more so looking at Jackson Dart than Shedeur Sanders. But there was still hope. I wasn't sure exactly who was going to win out. Joe Shane or Brian Daboll. We're going to see who else was going to give up. But they went defense, no problem. They're going to take a gamble. Hopefully, they can come back in and draft Shedeur Sanders. Right after that, the Steelers picked. They went also offensive line, and then the Browns picked at 5. And I was like, all right, well, they definitely gonna go for Shedeur Sanders now. But I figured, okay, maybe they might decide basically to play some games and see how far Shedeur could fall. And I'm just like, why are they playing games with this man? Why are you acting as though basically he wasn't a great football player? Seriously. Like, I mean, did I miss something? For real? Did I miss something? So they went defensive tackle. All right. So I figured, all right, they're going to fuck around. Somebody's going to find out. I was just like, Saints definitely need somebody behind Derek Carr. And at that time, Derek Carr didn't retire yet. But Saints decided to go O-line. To protect who? Who you got, bro? Derek Carr? Derek Carr was hurt already. Who is you protecting? So, and then on top of it, after that happened, Shedeur Sanders started getting prank calls. And other people was getting prank called too. But I'm just like, this is just like, nothing here feels good. Nothing here feels good. This is basically how y'all feel. You're breeding a environment where people's lives can be played with like it's a chessboard, and the son of the Falcons defensive coordinator could just basically swipe a number off of a iPad, which should have been kept secure, or that kid should have realized that nothing about that is funny. And he prank calls him and a couple of other players, telling him that you're going to wait a little longer. Who in the hell are you to think that you have the right to even do something like that? Like, what about that is fucking funny? Why do you think that that's funny? What is wrong with you people? Anyway, I figured, okay, well, shoot. I heard what the Steelers and Mike Tomlin and the GM was talking about. So I said, "There's no way the Steelers are going to let him get past them." Steelers let him go. I'm just like, wow, what exactly is going on in the world? At 21, they want defensive tackle, as though they don't have enough defense. I'm just like, it would have been perfect with the Steelers, but no, they decided not to do. Not the Steelers decided not to go with him either. And come to find out later on, Ryan Clark basically let it spill that even if he went in the 7th round, the Steelers wasn't gonna pick him up because they're still waiting for Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers would rather not be the second most popular football player on the team because Shedeur Sanders is just that popular. But what's killing me is that y'all, it's not just popular because he's not just because he's just a flashy kid. He's good. Then we get the surprise of all surprises. The Giants decided to jump back into the draft. And I was like, oh, the Giants are about to do something sweet, baby. Here we go. They jump back in, picked up Jackson Dart. I was just like, yo, I was ready to transfer from fan bases. I honestly, I am. Honestly, right now, the way I feel about the New York Giants, y'all lost one right now. It's my hometown team. And I called myself a fan since 07. And before that time, I was only a player fan. I really just like players. But I decided to find a team to decide to root for, wins and long day in, day out, ups and downs. But the way that the way that the Giants have run themselves for the past 10 years, it's not just basically that they're a bad team. It's just that just the decisions that they made in their attitudes towards certain players, just basically to me, something doesn't sit right with my spirit. And I think I'm about to basically just start being a player fan again. Because honestly, y'all better hope that y'all do well. But even if y'all do well, I'm not going to root for y'all. I'm not going to root for y'all. Because y'all knew who y'all should have took. And y'all better hope that Jackson Dart is great. Because if Jackson Dart is trash, because I don't think Shedeur is going to be trash. I think Shedeur is going to be great and build day by day, year by year, week by week. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be amazing. If Jackson Dart ain't that, I want to help Dayball pack, period. And I hope Joe Shane keeps his damn job. Plain and simple. Because you did it to yourself. You absolutely did it to yourself. So Cleveland comes back around. Another one of these teams who definitely need a quarterback, playing themselves like they don't need a quarterback. They come back around. They pick Dillon Gabriel. I mean, and this is after several teams picked up quarterbacks. I mean, it's madness to basically really, really look at how many of these teams picked quarterbacks and didn't pick Shedeur. He was the number 2 ranked quarterback, and he went 7th or 6th. Cam Ward went before him, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, who didn't even look like he could throw a goddamn ball, and he was like old as hell. You see how they don't have the ages up here, but a lot of these players played 3-4 years. Played 5-7 years in the college game before they even came out. Jalen Milroe went before Shedeur Sanders. That's how I know they was playing some bullshit. And then Dillon Gabriel from Oregon. I mean, he's 5'11". I mean, I get it, but I didn't see greatness from Dillon Gabriel the way I saw from Shedeur Sanders. And that's just not me just being a homer or being someone who rooted for Colorado. Shedeur Sanders was great. And he was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th quarterback coming off the bench. And that was after they picked Dillon Gabriel. The Cleveland Cleveland Browns picked Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. And then they come back around, they jump back in the 5th round, and it comes out to say that the owner basically called in and was just like, all right, We've made it. This has gone on long enough. Like as though it was something that basically was planned, or an understanding that was had between the league. Don't act like this is basically something that's in the figment of my that's a figment of my imagination. It's not. Fifth round, Shedeur Sanders get picked with the 144th pick. You're telling me that the number 2 quarterback on the list was the 144th pick off the board? There was 143 people better than him, 142 people better than him. Really? You can't convince me no bullshit like that. I'm sorry. You can't. You can't. Let me see the teams that basically definitely could have used a quarterback or a backup quarterback. And you're telling me that basically they didn't need a quarterback. All right. So Miami Dolphins, y'all quarterback is hurt every single goddamn year. The Jets, y'all obviously didn't have a quarterback. Y'all picked up Shields, but at the same time, y'all could have either had a starter or a backup. Cleveland, obviously, you needed starters, backups. You needed it all. Pittsburgh, you obviously needed a starter. Indianapolis could have dealt with one. I think they actually picked up another, basically. Actually, they picked him up after they picked one up after Shedeur was gone. So who knows what they would have did? What was that in the 6th round? A round later. See, okay. Hell, Jacksonville. I mean, I know you still have Lawrence, but at the same time, back up. Dallas. I mean, that gets hurt every single year. There should be no doubt. You could have had him as a backup. The Giants obviously needed one. The Saints definitely needed a quarterback. Tampa Bay could probably do with a backup, but maybe they didn't want that much smoke. The Rams, that's another one that I figured that they could have definitely needed a backup, but not just a backup, but a backup, or rather an heir apparent than just a backup. But all these teams definitely needed the quarterbacks or new blood in the room, and none of them decided to make the move. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just Shedeur Sanders who actually fell in the draft. Also, a lot of other Colorado Buffaloes were drafted later than him, or even went undrafted. Travis Hunter, he went number 1, of course. I mean, number 2, of course. But then after Shedeur went 144, LeJohntay Wester, wide receiver, he went 203. To the Baltimore Ravens. Jimmy Horn went 208 to Carolina Panthers, and those are two. Besides Travis Hunter, he had those wide receivers in like him and Horn was up in the damn near 900 yards and not 1,000. Travis Hunter had 1,000 something. Horn had like 900. I mean, he had these players looking great. But they all fell in the draft for to me, no reason why they couldn't have went earlier. Shiloh was undrafted, but I mean that might be understandable. He was good. I'm understanding that some players basically are just not that good. I didn't think that Shiloh was that great. But I'm glad that he found a place with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At the same time, I feel like he can be great, especially with the fact that his father trained him very well. So it looks like he's already basically doing great and is already going to probably make the team. But I feel like that was purposeful. That besides Travis Hunter, who ended up winning the Heisman, all the other players basically took a dip, an unnecessary dip in the draft. I think personally the discouraged players from going to Colorado, because Deion Sanders obviously is breaking the code, especially with the transport portal and NIL. He's getting players who other teams would have easily been able to recruit. He's getting people who basically are picking Colorado, going across the country to play for Colorado. And it's not just to play for Colorado. He has two other Hall of Fame players on the team coaching with him. So who else could get could get players ready for the NFL than Hall of Fame players? And he's only getting better every single year. Let's see what his record is next year. Let's see if he doesn't contend for the Big 12 Big 12 championship this year. And then who knows if he basically doesn't get into contention for a playoff spot for the championship. I'm not surprised, but they're trying to discourage people being recruited there because they're saying to them that, hey, you can be as good as you want to be, but you're not going to be a high draft pick, and that's going to affect your money. Hence, how they affected the money. How they affected the money for Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders should have had a $50 million contract as a top 10 draft pick, and he slipped all the way to the 5th round and got a $4.6 million contract. That's how they plan on doing you. You know what I'm saying? They trying to affect you, to discourage you from going there, to try to bring the program down, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's bigger than that. It's bigger than your foolishness. You're still going to play. Cream rises to the top, guys. And like I said, they act as though the Colorado Buffaloes finished like 3-10 or whatever. 3-10. They were 9-4, and they're only going to get better. So after being drafted, he was very gracious. He called. He thanked them for giving him an opportunity. Dion called and thanked the GM personally, Barry, who looked very, very displeased that he even had to draft Shedeur. He was just like, he looked like a despondent Nico Collins. Whatever his name is, Nico, whatever the hell his name is, down in Dallas that traded away Luka. He looked beside himself that he was definitely not planning on even drafting him. But the owner basically the owner pressed the button. So he had to do what he had to do. But Dion called him and thanked him for giving his son a chance. And then the same thing when Tampa Bay picked up Shiloh. And they just said, hey, they just basically decided to put all the foolishness behind them, and they said to go in there and they said to work. And that's exactly what Shedeur decided to do. But since the draft, a lot of things have come out. First of all, the fans decided to sue the NFL for collusion. I'll tell you now, when I say that it's not just the Shedeur people, it's fans that feel that football people feel that they were messed with by basically being brought down this far, by him falling that far. Like they were cheated. The media coverage was ridiculous. Immediately, ESPN decided to start, circling the wagons to say that how, well, maybe he wasn't that good. But no. Mel Kiper stood 10 toes down on the front line and said, this is the hill I'm going to die on. Shedeur Sanders was a top 2 quarterback, period. He was a top 10 pick, period. There's no way possible that he fell to the 5th round, and I hope that you guys feel disgusted with yourselves for doing that to him, period. Mel Kiper, I salute you. Don't let these people try to tell you that you don't know what the hell you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing, and they playing games, and that's what they do every single year with these kids' lives. They play games. They just basically trade them like trading cards. That's all they do. They don't really care about these kids. You know what I'm saying? He was not having none of it. Mel Kiper said, y'all don't even know how to even judge talent, period. You know what I'm saying? And he staked his whole entire reputation on that shit, period. You know what I'm saying? So the media at large began to create this huge narrative of maybe he wasn't as good as he thought as we thought he was. Wasn't as good as we thought he was. Maybe the interviews was bad. I'm just like, are you serious? This kid who's never been in trouble with the law, never been in trouble with anybody. This is the kind of kid right here that y'all talking about right now. Let me find out, y'all really don't understand who y'all talking about. This kid is. Let's see real quick. This is who we talking about right now. He was first in Colorado single season passing yards with 4,134. First in Colorado single season completion percentage at 74%. First in Colorado single season touchdown to interception, which is 9-1. First in Colorado single season passing touchdowns, 37 touchdowns. He was first in Colorado single season completions with 353. First in games passing yards, 510 yards in a game. And this is Colorado. This is Colorado stats. He was 8th in Heisman voting this year. Big 10. He was Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year this year. He was the first team All Big 12 this year. AP. And last year he was AP Pac-10 Newcomer of the Year. And that's just some of the things that he accomplished. That's just some of the things he accomplished. I mean, the kid was great. His entire career, turning around two programs, 6'2", 215 pounds. He's a perfect football quarterback body. Was training with Tom Brady. His father is Deion Sanders. I mean, what more pedigree do you want from that? How much more do you need to see from that? I mean, he basically was all world all year, and y'all acting as though he basically was chopped liver. I mean, he literally was the most accurate person of all time. The most accurate passer of all time in college football, period. He owns the record for accuracy. But he's worth going to 144. I mean, it's you're trying to tell me that I didn't see what I saw with my own eyes. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean? But the media at large began to create this narrative saying that maybe he wasn't as good as we thought he was. Because obviously the professionals didn't think that he was, because they obviously didn't take him. So that obviously says that he wasn't as good as we thought he was. Or these interviews were truly so bad that he was toxic. He was nuclear waste and couldn't be touched, until someone decided to pick him up with 2 fingers and said, "We'll take him." Really, that's basically what y'all trying to pull over our eyes. That's what y'all trying to do. Or, or he took too many sacks when he had no offensive line and no running back. So what else was he gonna do? What else was he gonna do? Oh, he throws his teammates under the bus. Bullshit. Because that was those comments were taken out of context, where he was saying that basically, that this person was touched this many times, and he was basically touched a lot more than they was touched, and they're saying that basically that their best bet right now is to go with the passing game rather than the running game. But he didn't even mention them, but they basically turned it around and took it out of context to say that, oh, he was blaming his team for their troubles rather than blaming himself. It's ridiculous, as though he doesn't know how to speak and how to take accountability. You know what I mean? And paraphrasing Mike, and I'm paraphrasing Mike Orlovsky by saying the awards that he won didn't mean anything. Let me see something. Where is this information? I just saw it. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award this year. He won the Deacon Jones Trophy in 2022. AP Second Team All American is what he got. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah. First team All Big 12. Yeah. Those awards didn't mean anything. They don't mean nothing. They don't mean nothing. Mike Orlovsky or whatever the fuck your name is, you're trash. I didn't like your takes before, and I think that you're trash now. Plain and simple. You just fell further off the board for me. That's all I know. As a person also who didn't win shit and was a trash quarterback. So you can't tell me that you know how to judge talent. Period. It was a straight character assassination. That's just what it was. It's sad. It's a sad thing. It was a sad thing to watch. A person sell out their integrity completely, or decide to go with the herd because everybody else is saying, well, he's just not that good. If they just didn't take him, they basically decided to go with the herd, not wanting to die on a hill that wasn't their own. That's basically what it was. Stephen A. Smith, he was at first, he was even jumping on the bandwagon. Jamel Hill, who I was so sad to even hear her say that basically he just probably wasn't that good. Nick Wright, who I really, really love watching the shows, he said the same dumb shit. Dan Orlovsky, Shannon Sharp, Bomani Jones, to name just a few. All of them basically came out saying the same dumb shit, and they all now are saying something different. They're all saying something different now after seeing what Shedeur Sanders is actually doing with the Browns. They tried to act as though, we shouldn't trust what we saw with our own eyes. The young man we heard for the past 2 years who speaks very eloquently in his own manner. He answers every question correctly in the way that he's obviously been coached for his entire life on how to answer questions properly while being the leader of a team. You know what I mean? But with the cameras in his face and the microphone in his mouth every single day, every single where he goes, you act as though he didn't know how to conduct himself in an interview, saying that, he wasn't prepared. Where people basically find after they broke down the film for Jackson Dart's visit, and they were just like, "Yo, Jackson Dart didn't have to do any of the things that they say that Shedeur Sanders did," and that tape hasn't come out. And now there's rumors saying that the Sanders people are threatening to sue if that video comes out. Please let that video come out because I would like to know exactly what the hell happened there. And suddenly now, after we've seen him for 4 years in front of the cameras, he's a mystery man again. Are you serious? Skip Bayless, I'll give you absolute props. You stood 10 toes down with Mel Kiper, saying that Shedeur Sanders is amazing. He's a great quarterback and he's going to do great things. And you have no idea why he fell as low as he did. He was one of the first ones to say that there should be an investigation into collusion. He was one of the first ones to say it on his YouTube show. Others that stood tall was Rich Eisen, who actually knew him since he was a child, knew Shedeur since he was a child. LaShawn McCoy, good looking brother, absolutely. And Keyshawn Johnson, who's just he said, listen, I have a PhD in quarterback, and I can tell you that Shedeur Sanders is going to be an amazing quarterback, and he's going to be a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in no time. And Joy Taylor, standing amongst all other people, and they telling all kind of bull crap. She didn't want to hear none of that foolishness. She said, listen, he is the truth. He's going to be great, and they shitted on him, period. But immediately, forget all the media, real world times, the Browns immediately now have become the most talked about franchise in football, if not in sports, period. Everybody wants to talk about Shedeur. Where's Shedeur going to play? Is Shedeur going to play? Is he going to start? That's what everybody wants to talk about. And the Browns now go from being irrelevant, absolutely irrelevant, to being the most relevant franchise in the whole entire NFL. You have gotten so many new fans. You call them casuals, but we're not casuals. We know football. We know football and we follow great football players. And Colorado fans, Jackson State fans, Deion Sanders fans, Shedeur Sanders fans, well-off media, They're all going to be following the Cleveland Browns now. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. You might as well basically go ahead and sign Shedeur Sanders on that new $1 billion arena, the stadium that you're planning on building out there in Cleveland. Because he's there and he's going to be the one that's going to pay for all that. He already basically sold out of his jersey. I mean, hey. And it makes all the other franchises that would have profited beyond profit look dumb. They just look straight up dumb, like they don't know what the hell they're doing. Since the draft, the quarterback room over there in Cleveland has Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, who's like 42 years old, Kenny Pickett, who was trash coming out of Pittsburgh, and did nothing playing for his hometown team or playing for the team where he went in the same town where he went to college. He didn't do nothing with the Steelers. Dylan Gabriel, who's a pretty decent quarterback, you know what I mean, but still, and Shedeur Sanders, who's obviously head and toes above all of them. Flacco's just there as a mentor. Deshaun Watson, he's on it. He's not gonna play for the Browns again. Maybe Pickett stays as a serviceable, quarterback in case the two rookies don't go, or Flacco, they pick Flacco to basically stay for the beginning of the season and then trade him off to wherever, like the Saints, which basically the Saints now they need another quarterback, if not Kyler Shuck, whatever the hell his name is. But it's going to be interesting. And we all feel like, hey, Shedeur should definitely be starting come week 4. There's no reason why he shouldn't. Of course, they're going to give Dylan Gabriel his chances, but I can't wait for OTAs. Everybody in the world can't wait to see OTAs for the Cleveland Browns. What? It just boggles the mind sometimes. It just boggles the mind. Anyway, but he has a great elite arm, elite toughness, elite processing. He could break down defenses. He's gonna do great in the NFL. I'm definitely gonna get me a Shedeur Sanders Browns jersey. I'm actually definitely gonna be rooting for the Browns once he starts. I don't know how much I'm actually gonna root for my own New York Giants. I don't feel right even calling them my own no more because they're unrecognizable to me no more. That's just the kind of place that they are. Take care of their own. That's it. But it's gonna be very interesting going forward. Can't wait to see what's going on. Can't wait to see who's going to be there. Definitely, they got some really good players in the draft to go along with it. So I absolutely see a really good chance for some success with the Browns. Oh man, I was just about to. Here we go. Let me see if I could by teams, the Browns. Oops. Yeah. They selected some defensive players to sort of make that defense more stout. And they also drafted 2 running backs. Quinshon Judkins is definitely one I'm going to be looking for. That's going to be great. He's finally going to have a running back that he's going to be able to count on. Besides Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb is still, I don't think Nick Chubb's on the team anymore. Jerome Ford also is there. But I'm also looking forward to seeing Harold Finnan Jr. He looks like a great tight end. I can't wait to see them play. Can't wait to see. They look like they already have some chemistry too. It's gonna be good. With Jerry Jeudy, and Njoku is still there. I mean, he's gonna have a really good base, and all they have to do is just give him the keys. I can't wait to see him earn that spot. I Can't wait to see him earn it, and it's going to be amazing. Also, just a quick little shout out to Well Off Media, which is Deion Sanders Jr.'s media company, which he started back when they were in Jacksonville. Not Jacksonville, when they started when it was Jackson State. Following them around. And now they actually have been granted full access to the NFL, so they can actually follow Shedeur Sanders while he's in, training camp and through the season to document this. That's something big too. That's something big, guys. That's something big. So they're going to be able to tell his narrative himself, his story himself, and also just keep on growing this this thing. I mean, outside of Arch Manning, who else is coming in with this kind of following immediately? I mean, and could follow it up. I don't even know if Arch Manning could really hold up to the scrutiny of his fame. We're gonna see. We're gonna see, guys. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on with that. I will definitely check back in with you guys for more coverage on Shedeur Sanders, more coverage on the NBA, more coverage on the WNBA. As of right now, the New York Knicks is at halftime, and they are down 13 to the Pacers. They're down 58-45. Pacers aren't really, putting out a crazy amount of points, but they just turned up the defense on New York and kept the New York Knicks to 19 points, and they scored 28 in the second quarter. So Towns is only at 4 points. I don't know if they're just playing crazy defense on him, but whatever they do, they need to turn it up, or this is going to be a very, very short series, bro. Can't believe it. But shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Y'all basically came back, and at least y'all wasn't going to get dragged. Y'all was just like, we definitely not going to get swept at the very least. But, y'all came through and disrupted whatever it is that Oklahoma City usually does, and was able to keep them out of their game and just basically blow up. Anthony Edwards did his thing. I just want to see somebody from the New York Knicks do the same, because I mean, being down 2 doesn't mean you're out of the series. If you basically turn up and show up for game 2, game 3, it could be done. But seeing is believing. Gonna have to see if they could do it. Unfortunately, we can't get out there and play with them. They have to take what they have and have to do it themselves. So I hope they can. Because I really had hopes for the New York Knicks. But anyway, if you haven't done so already, go ahead, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so before, go ahead and, hit that notification button so you know when I go live. You know what I mean, people? Go ahead and say hi. If you're already here in the chat and you're in the live, go ahead and say what's up. How y'all doing? I really appreciate y'all for sticking with me. I know that this was I guess some people might say it was some down. It was downers rather than the high energy that sometimes I come with. But at the same time, I wanted to address a couple of things that was really just weighing on me for a while. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to get back to other reviews. Three Body Problem is coming back with a second season, so I'm definitely going to be reviewing that one when it comes up. Would love to finish. I'm definitely going to be finishing the first season review, so going to be definitely doing that right before the second season starts. Also going to be covering what's going to be going on with the NBA and the WNBA. So please tune in. I'll be coming with some entertainment coverage, some sports coverage, and everything in between. Just sometimes it's what's on my mind. So please come back for some more CallMeNakomi live, guys. CallMeNakomi World live. But till then, please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. Watch out for yourself. Watch your back. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't grow roots if you can't take the heat. Trust and believe. Absolutely, guys. Sometimes some of us might have to get the dipping sooner or later. I'd be damned. But anyway, Love y'all. May y'all always find water and shade.